Did you know you can find not just one, but two Millennium Falcons in Batuu at Hollywood Studios? Welcome to Roaming Yeti's Travel Beyond the Guidebook, where we help our busy fellow adventurers maximize their limited vacation time. I'm your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci. I'm here to share stories, hidden gems, and insider tips to help you plan trips that are unique and meaningful to you. In each episode, I delve into the world of pop culture destinations, theme parks, roadside attractions, and nostalgic locations. And you know what? We're uncovering their secrets and backstories. Are you ready? Let's roam! Welcome back. In today's episode, I will share some of my favorite Easter eggs and hidden details you can find in Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World. So it's a beautiful day. We're entering the park. We've gone through the gates and security, and we're walking down Hollywood Boulevard. And we're going to first head to Sunset Boulevard. But before we head down in that direction, let me share the first detail. So, this first detail carries through both on Hollywood and Sunset Boulevards and can be seen at the base of both areas' traffic lights. So go up to the traffic lights, look down on the road nearby those traffic lights, and you'll find an imprint with a faux company name stamp of Mortimer and Company, 1928. Now this references Mortimer Mouse, the original name for the mouse, who thankfully became Mickey Mouse thanks to Lily and Disney. So that will always be her gift to to Disney fans, that it became Mickey Mouse in 1928. So you check that out, and we're gonna walk further down Sunset Boulevard. You're gonna find a place called Sunset Ranch Market, and it might look a little familiar, and it's because it's based on the famous LA's farmers market, which I believe is a must visit when you're in LA, especially if you're a foodie. It's such a cool place, so much fun, lots of good food and drink. Definitely check it out. But it's cool to see Hollywood Studios has their own LA farmers market there. Now, also along Sunset, you're going to find a store called Once Upon a Time. And this building is actually based on the Carthay Circle Theater in Hollywood. And that is the theater where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered in 1937. So it's just a really nice homage to Disney's, animation past. Now, at the end of Sunset Boulevard, you're going to find that famous Hollywood Hotel. And if you're not into riding Tower of Terror, I totally get it, but you can still see this one. So you're going to go to the right and you're going to enter the store, and you can do that without taking the infamous elevator ride. And as you head into the store at the exit to Tower of Terror, you're going to discover that there is a hotel, restaurant, and gift shop frozen in time, and both of them have been closed since October 31st, 1939, which is why the lobby is still decorated for Halloween. Now you can find an entrance and a menu for the restaurant, the Sunset Room. And it's just another cool way that Disney does details the whole way through. Not like the story is from beginning the queue till you leave the gift shop. So it's just really cool. And again, you can check that out without riding the ride. Now, you can't sort of circle around real well in Hollywood Studios, so we have to go back up Sunset to head to our next location, which is near Echo Lake. And here we're going to stop and check out a window near the rear entrance of the store Keystone Clothiers. Now, if you look in the window, you're going to see a box with a wrapped up Maltese falcon. This is from the movie of the same name. Yes, the 1941 classic film noir directed by John Huston, starring Humphrey Bogart as the hard-boiled detective Sam Spade. But yeah, it's right there in a box. You can check it out. Now, for the next two little hidden details, you're going to have to actually look up. And above the Hollywood and Vine restaurant, you're going to see a window for Eddie Valiant's detective office. Now, Eddie Valiant is from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And you can also see Roger's silhouette has broken through the window, similar to how Roger broke through the window at R.K. Maroon's office in the movie. Now, another window above the restaurant is for Flower Street Productions and mentions Bob Weiss as studio head. So, Flower Street Productions references Walt Disney Imagineering's 1401 Flower Street address, while the window itself tributes Bob Weiss, who is a former head of Walt Disney Imagineering. So, just we know they've done those tributes on um, Main Street, but it's cool to have another one somewhere else. We can check it out in Hollywood Studios. Now, if you turn around, you will see Peavy's Polar Pipeline. It's the slushy stand that's open some days and most of the time not open, but you can still see the reference to the movie The Rocketeer here. The iconic helmet and jetpack are seen right behind the counter, so check that out. Again, can be viewed whether the slushy stand's open or not. Now, Echo Lake contains an actual direct reference to Walt and Roy Disney themselves. So just next to Peavy's Polar Pipeline, the slushy stand, there's a facade door marked Holly Vermont Realty, and with a window above that shows that there's a loft for rent. Well, when the Disney brothers first settled in Hollywood, they rented a loft above a business named Holly Vermont Realty. So another, just shout out and little historical piece to enjoy as you're walking around. Now, one of my favorite features of Echo Lake is not so hidden, but it does have a story behind it. And I'm talking about Gertie the dinosaur. I love Gertie the dinosaur. I love her at Christmas. I love her all the time. But why is she called Gertie? Well, that name comes from Gertie the dinosaur, which was one of the first animated films, and it was created in 1914 by Winsor McKay. And it's often considered the first cartoon to feature a character with a distinct personality. So this really showcased the potential of animation as a storytelling medium, which of course totally influenced Walt. So that's just been studio's sort of homage to that movie that sort of influenced Walt and so forth. But also we got Gertie, so it's a win-win. Now, before you leave Echo Lake, take a look down. I'm always telling you to look down, look up, everywhere. You can see where Gertie left a trail of her footprints in the cement leading into the lake where she stands. And actually, Gertie is an ice cream stand, so she she really is a feature of Echo Lake, and well, you can't miss her. You really can't. But we are going to head around. We're going to go by past Star Tours and we're going to head to Muppet Vision 3D. But hey, wait, feel free to take a break. Go get a drink. Go get a pretzel at Baseline. You totally deserve it by now of all this Easter egg hunting. So enjoy yourself. But now we're going to get back to visiting our friends, the Muppets. And as you enter the attraction, you'll see a sign on the ticket window, and it says, "Back in 5 minutes, the key is under the mat." Now, if you look down, there's indeed a mat on the ground, and lifting it reveals a key on the floor. There has been times that we find it, sometimes it's missing, most of the time it's there, but totally check. People who don't know about this, it's so interesting to watch the reaction as they're watching you. Why are you lifting this mat up? Um, but it's a lot of fun. People get a big kick out of it when they see it. So definitely check for it and see if you can, let yourself in. And then while you're waiting for the show, you're in sort of a waiting room and so forth. There's so many things to look at, but one of the fun things to look up into the rafters actually, and you'll see the small world style characters that you will actually see in the movie. So check it out and see if they're there. So we've watched Muppets. We've, watched the Swedish Chef do his thing, and now we're gonna put it in a hyperdrive, and we're gonna head to Batu. So the first stop is the Black Spires Market, and if you're near the bathroom and you're near the water fountain, you're going to see a hairy one-eyed space squid, and he's gonna pop up from the water. Now, if you're a fan of the 1977 Star Wars movie, the original one, you're gonna remember the squid-like, I'm gonna butcher this name, Dianoga creature that was in the garbage compactor that almost drowned Luke. So now the audio animatronic lives in the pipes near the drinking fountain and near the bathroom. So, you know, fans of the originals, go check that out. You can't miss it. There's usually people standing all around it, either filling water bottles or just checking it out. So then if you go over to Docking Bay 7, Food and Cargo, you're going to find 2 containers on the roof that have special numbers on them. They're going to have the numbers 77 and 83. And then there's a third container that can be found inside the building with the number 80. So you may have already figured this out by what I'm describing, but these numbers correspond to the original trilogy. I'm going to call them the OT uh, movies were released. 77 for Star Wars, 80 for Empire Strikes Back, and 83 for Return of the Jedi. Now, here's sort of what I was teasing in the beginning. When you see the Millennium Falcon and Galaxy's Edge for the first time, you pretty much stop in your tracks and you just take it all in, especially if you're a fan of the original. That ship is so iconic, and just seeing it right in front of you, huge. It's so cool. But once you get over, sort of the shock and the awe of seeing it, you can begin to search for a mini Millennium Falcon hidden within the original. So the mini one can be found perched near the docking bay on the rear of the ship. It blends in, and it's a lot smaller than you think it's going to be. So if you can't find it, ask one of the residents of Batu, also known as a cast member. They can almost always point you in the right direction. But check it out. It's sort of a real fun little thing to look at. So now we're going to leave space, and we're going to be greeted by our favorite space ranger, Buzz Lightyear, as we walk into Toy Story Land. And I just love that this is sort of how they decided to handle the transition from Galaxy's Edge into Toy Story Land. But I wanted to finish up our tour of Hollywood Studios with 2 of my favorite details in Toy Story Land. Again, I'm going to have you look down to see one of them, because as you enter Toy Story Land, it takes place in Andy's backyard. And as we walk in, we are shrunk to the size of toys. And if you look down, you will see Andy's giant footprints on the ground. And this is why I always say look up and down and around to check out the theming, because seeing his huge shoe print really makes you sort of understand the scale, and you do start to feel like one of the toys. And last but not least, one thing to check out is at the entrance of Slinky Dog Dash. And so at the very entrance of the queue, you'll see one of the standby entrance signs, and it usually gives you a time of how long the wait is. And if you look on the back side of that sign, you're actually going to see that sign is Andy's Dog Buster's name tag, and it has his name and address on it. His address is 234 Elm Street. So it's just another really cute detail, a way to use something that they need to have there, and make it cute. Now, of course, I have barely scratched the surface of all the Easter eggs and hidden details, especially in Batu. I love Star Wars. I watch all the shows and stuff, but I am not hardcore enough to give you the details of everything in there. But I just had to share some of my favorites and some that are most accessible without getting on rides. But which hidden detail is your favorite? Did I talk about it? Is there one I need to know about? Let me know on social media. And I really hope that this episode inspires you to get out and roam, even in your own backyard, or Andy's backyard in this case. Follow, download, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And tell a friend, leave a review if you like what we're doing. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search for The Roaming Yeti and keep roaming.